Well, hello, everybody. Very excited to see you here. Thank you so much for joining us on the first day of the Africa Leaders Summit. We've been planning for this for months, and we're so excited to finally see it come to fruition, and we're just delighted to have you all here. So I'm the Ambassador at Large for Global Women's Issues, and I have the privilege every day of working to ensure that women and girls are integrated into all aspects of U.S. foreign policy. For me, this event, Investing in Women for Peace and Prosperity, brings together the critical themes of this summit. Investing in women and girls is central to positive outcomes across Africa and across the globe. As President Obama, and Valerie referred to this earlier, has said time and again, no country will truly succeed if it doesn't meaningfully invest in its women and girls. The U.S. has prioritized gender equality as a core component of our foreign policy. First, of course, because it's the right thing to do. But we also strongly believe that it's a strategic thing to do, both for the relevant countries and for the United States, especially when you consider economic, health, development, and democratic outcomes. That data shows that women's participation is one of the most important ways of addressing every issue central to this summit: Africa's economic growth and development, peace and security, and democratic governance. Studies show that countries are more peaceful and prosperous when women are accorded full and equal rights and opportunities. Both the World Bank and the IMF have recently released reports that conclude that when you bring more women into the workforce, you raise a country's economic competitiveness. One of the keys to this competitiveness is girls' education. Girls' education is not just an investment in the individual girl, but in our collective futures. Each extra year of girls' education reduces infant mortality by 5 to 10%, and a child born to a mother who can read is 50% more likely to live past the age of 5. So now I have the great privilege, I don't get to do this very often, to introduce a truly extraordinary woman and someone that I have known for many years, I won't say how many, someone I'm fortunate to call a friend, Dr. Biden, who's obviously standing next to me. Many of you know that Dr. Biden has been an educator for more than 30 years, that she works tirelessly for our troops and their family members, and that she's a strong supporter of America's community colleges. She also cares deeply about women's empowerment and leadership. Last month, I joined Dr. Biden as she led a delegation to Zambia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Sierra Leone, where we focused on highlighting girls' education, women's participation in government, improving women's health and educational outcomes, and fostering peace and security. We had the opportunity to meet with inspiring young girls, women, and men who are working every day to see that women play an integral role in their communities. And that was Dr. Biden's third visit to the continent since 2010. Dr. Biden is simply one of the best people I know, a devoted teacher, a dedicated advocate for military families, a true champion for women and girls around the world, and I have the great, great privilege of introducing her to you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Did you want to sit down? You don't have to.
I'm going to stand.
Okay. Thank you for that warm welcome. And thank you, Ambassador Russell, for your kind introduction. And as Kathy said, we've known each other for, many, like 30 or 40 years. And she's been, as she said, by my side every time I visited Africa. And she said I was a champion, but she is the champion as the ambassador for women and girls. She's our global champion. And before I begin, please know that our thoughts and prayers are with all of the families and loved ones who are affected by the Ebola virus. The U.S. government will continue to support and assist efforts to treat victims and contain the virus as quickly as possible. I'm pleased to be joined by the UN Ambassador Samantha Power and our distinguished panelists who are here today for this important discussion on investing in women for peace and prosperity. It is wonderful to see so many amazing women leaders here today. Dr. Charlotte Scott, the Second Lady of Zambia, It's great to see you again. She hosted me in Zambia, where it was a second lady thing. On behalf of President Barack Obama, First Lady Michelle Obama, and my husband Joe, the Vice President, I want to welcome you to this historic event, the U.S. Africa Leaders Summit. Nelson Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." That's one of my favorite quotations. In my own classroom and in my travels around the world, I've seen firsthand that a strong education does provide a sense of hope, a chance at a better life, and an opportunity for all to pursue their dreams. And we are all here today because we believe that it is our responsibility, yours and mine, to provide the next generation of women with the foundation they need to succeed. This historic summit is an opportunity to learn from one another, because what we learn, as President Mandela taught us, can be used to change our communities, our countries, and the world. Last month, I took, as Kathy said, my third trip to Africa. This time, I traveled to Zambia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Sierra Leone. The trip focused on the importance of girls' education and women's participation in government, the economy, and civil society. Each time I've traveled to Africa, I had the opportunity to meet with your doctors and nurses, your political leaders and entrepreneurs, your teachers and students, all of whom share a common purpose: to give back, to build a stronger community, and to move your countries forward. And I have seen what a difference these individuals are making. Today, I would like to share a few stories from my recent trip to Africa that inspired me, stories of hope and opportunity, stories of a new Africa. Our first stop in Africa was Zambia, where we visited a small open-air clinic that was making a big difference. The clinic provides quality services for the victims of gender-based violence, offers treatment to prevent mother-to-child transmission of HIV/AIDS, and pioneers in testing for and treatment of breast and cervical cancer. You know, women in the United States are regularly tested for cervical cancer through a pap smear. But in Zambia, doctors do not have access to the same type of medical equipment that we have. So physicians at the clinic in Zambia devised an ingenious procedure to detect cervical cancer using something as simple as household vinegar, cotton swabs, and a digital camera. The morning I was there, they screened more than 50 patients. One young woman I met at the clinic, Imogen, was diagnosed with cervical cancer after she was screened several years ago. And of course, she was devastated by her diagnosis. But after only 6 months of treatment, she returned to the clinic and was tested again, and her results came back negative. Imogen was proud to tell me that her story was not uncommon. In fact, over 5,000 women have been screened at that health clinic, and 90% of them have been cleared after just 6 months of treatment. For the past 5 years, Imogen has been volunteering at the health clinic, encouraging women in her community to go in for screenings and other health services, using her own experience to help others. That type of commitment and leadership is not just saving lives, it is creating a healthier community. And then there's the Democratic Republic of Congo, which I visited. While we've seen progress in the DRC, years of conflict have left the country in a state of turmoil, and many challenges still exist. According to one recent study, more than 1,000 Congolese women are raped every day, and 60% of rape victims are gang raped, according to another survey. During my visit to the eastern part of the DRC, I had the opportunity to meet Dr. Dennis Mukwege and his medical team at the Panzi Hospital. And I'll tell you, they are doing extraordinary work for survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. At the hospital, I met remarkable survivors who shared their stories with me and with Kathy in confidence. And their stories were really heartbreaking. One survivor we met was gang raped by soldiers. Her husband kicked her out of the house for dishonoring their family because she was raped. She was brought to the hospital near starvation and in need of medical help. Another gang rape survivor was forced to watch as her entire family was murdered. And a 5-year-old girl, herself a victim of rape, reached out and held onto my granddaughter Finnegan's hand as if they were lifelong friends. These exceptional women and girls have not only persevered, but they have taken their experiences and used it to help others in their community. Today, they own small businesses and lead local advocacy groups to combat sexual and gender-based violence in the DRC, expand access to health care, and promote the economic empowerment of Congolese women. The United States stands with them, and the United States stands with you. We, through USAID programs, have provided care and treatment services for well over 100,000 survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. But we all must do more to prevent these horrific crimes against women. When we traveled to the western part of the DRC, we confronted another challenge for women, a restrictive law known as the Family Code. By law, women are prevented from working outside the home without their husband's permission. In Kinshasa, I met with women entrepreneurs who are overcoming these obstacles and building successful businesses of their own. One of these women, Therese, is a savvy, resilient, and innovative woman who knew she wanted to be an engineer. After she earned her degree, she converted an outdoor restaurant with dirt floors into a business, manufacturing and selling traffic directing robots. It's true. So why robots? Kinshasa has a population over 9 million. It's a crowded city with bustling streets. Okay, so try to imagine New York City, cars, buses, people everywhere. But unlike New York City, Kinshasa has very few traffic lights, which makes the streets incredibly dangerous, especially for children. Not only do the 8-feet-tall, solar-powered metallic robots look impressive, but they actually work. People respect the robots, and the busy streets of Kinshasa are a little safer, thanks to the ingenuity of this resourceful woman. Therese is not only breaking barriers for women in science and engineering, she is showing the power of technology to change the way we live and work, and showing how, through STEM-based education, women can lead the way. This is what I saw again and again when I was in Africa. Women turning something that could have broken them, that could have broken any one of us. A cervical cancer diagnosis, a barrier to education, a brutal sexual assault, into a way to help others. When we arrived in Sierra Leone, I found a country that had transformed itself in the last decade, from a country torn by conflict to a nation whose people who are now helping bring peace to Somalia and Darfur. Because of the tremendous progress being made in Sierra Leone with support from its government, the next generation of women will have the chance to pursue their dreams. I visited St. Joseph's Secondary School, where I was greeted by hundreds of enthusiastic schoolgirls cheering from all 3 stories of the school, wearing their bright blue uniforms with white knee socks and white bows on their hats, excited to show me their school. I reminded these girls that education will give them the tools they need to succeed on a lifelong path. And a good education will give them and their families the opportunity to excel regardless of gender. In the United States, we believe women's empowerment is critical. Together, we can do more to ensure that all women have the security and economic opportunities they deserve and their families need. So I'm pleased to announce today the United States is committing new assistance to advance women's empowerment in Africa, to support women's participation in peace building and their protection from violence, to help women entrepreneurs launch and expand their businesses in Africa, and to support parliamentary campaigns on equality issues and women's rights. While there is more work to be done, and there is always more work to be done, I am inspired by your stories and the tremendous efforts that you are making to bring peace, opportunity, and prosperity to all of your communities. A new Africa has emerged year by year, thanks to the hard work of leaders like you. Through our continued partnerships, I am confident that we will empower more women through educational opportunities, access to health care, and combating gender-based violence. Because a nation cannot reach its full economic potential until its women reach theirs. Thank you for being here.